President Trump obviously is going to take a victory lap over the job numbers. It is pretty amazing because you can say what you want. Well, he doesn't deserve it. He didn't do anything. He didn't. First of all, he did do a lot. I'll tell you who should be taking a victory lap. And if President Trump's going to take a victory lap, he really needs to go arm in arm with Jerome Powell. I mean, they really need to tag team or, take this victory lap together. Because Jerome Powell, make no mistake about it, Jerome Powell is the reason why we're seeing what we're seeing. He has done an amazing job, as far as I'm concerned. He's going to go down in history as one of the best Federal Reserve chairs, particularly a Federal Reserve chair in the midst of a crisis. Ben Bernanke, during the crisis, had to study 7 or 8 textbooks before he could make a decision about whether to go to the bathroom or not. So it was, there was, now I will say that this quick action of the Federal Reserve kind of didn't start with Jerome Powell. It started with his predecessor. But it is very good. I mean, he really should take a victory lap. The Federal Reserve has done an amazing job. I want you to think about this. There was a movement. I say this, gives me a chance because there's still a lot of listeners that were part of that criticism of me, used to call in the air and tell me how wrong I was. I was very critical of Representative Ron Paul back during the financial crisis, who was advocating and pushing for a doing away with the Federal Reserve. And, the Ron Paul fans are rabid fans. I mean, they're just, they love Ron Paul. I appreciate that. It's great. But he called for the doing away of the Federal Reserve. And I said, and he called for the audit of the Federal Reserve. So my position was, I'm all for the audit. The Federal Reserve is accountable to the taxpayer. We should audit them. We ought to know what they're doing. There shouldn't be any ifs, ands, or buts. I don't have a problem with the audit. Let's audit them. We should pass that. But replacing them? So Ron Paul wanted Congress to handle our monetary system. This is the same Congress that can't manage their lunch money. And he wanted to put them in charge of our monetary system. This is the same Congress that can't manage the Postal Service and has destroyed it. People get mad at the Postal Service. Don't get mad at the Postal Service. There's nothing wrong with our Postal Service. Could they tweak it a little bit? Yeah. Postal Service is amazing. You go into other countries, forget about mail. You can't even get mail. Go down to 30th Street Postal Service, 30th Street Station Post Office, and see if you can get in to the upper floors of the post office and take a look at that and say, how is it even possible that anybody can get one letter to anybody? It is an amazing system. But the Congress decided to bankrupt the Postal Service before they even get started. They're the only federal or quasi-federal agency that has to pay their pension fund in advance, a year in advance. So the Postal Service, if they make any money, all gets drained because they got to fund the TSP program when nobody else is funding it until the money comes out of people's paychecks. It's insane. That's just one example. I don't mean to go off on that. What I'm saying is Ron Paul wants he wanted the Congress to manage our monetary system. Now, if you want to add more accountability of Congress, which you don't really have to add, it's in the law. If you want to hold the Fed more accountable, then just do it. You don't have to pass anything. You don't have to talk about it. You don't have to pass a law. You just have to do it. But somehow over the years, the Congress has gotten afraid of the Federal Reserve. Back in 1913, when the Federal Reserve was formed by the Congress to be accountable to the Congress. Nothing's changed that I know of since then, other than we ask questions of the Federal Reserve in their meetings in front of the House and the Senate as if we're scared to death of them and like there's some sort of, agency that we can't hold accountable. No, it's our monetary system. They do not exist without the monetary system in the United States, and they are running our banking system for America. But can you imagine if Congress, the point I was trying to make, and I got down the rabbit trail, the point I was trying to make was, can you imagine being in a situation like we've been in with Congress running our monetary system? Oh my gosh. Trust me, we would have been standing in soup lines 2 months ago. I mean, it would have been a nightmare, like beyond anything that could be imagined. And the government, all they would be doing is trying to figure out who they can shift the blame on, which would have been fat cat bankers and Wall Streeters. They would have somehow managed to shift the blame. So President Trump deserves a victory lap, I'm fine. But he needs to go arm in arm with Jerome Powell. Hey, remember to click the subscribe button right here on the screen. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when new content is added. And more importantly than anything, you don't want to miss all 3 live hours of Financial Issues every day from 9 to noon. And you can watch it on FISM.tv. That's FISM.tv.